morning, good evening, good afternoon. I don't know where you're joining me from. Thank you for being here. Hi, good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining me from. Hi, good morning, buenos dias, how are you? Hi, people from Florida. I see Ramuel, Melody. Hi, Pageant Roll India, Belleza Boricuas, Miss Universe News. Yay! I am so happy to be here. Actually, I received so much amazing feedback for the first Queen Hangouts. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it and loved it and was able to join. So I'm happy to be here again with you. How are you guys doing? Are you waking up now? Are you getting ready to have dinner? What are you up to? I see Ariel, good morning. Hi to Minimal Girl from Virginia, from New York. Hi, good morning. I'm so excited that we can have again this space. Like I said the first time, this is just a little window of time that I have in my busy agenda, so I'm happy to have it to be able to share with you some of the things that I've been doing, my ideas, my thoughts. So I'm very happy to see that you're all joining in. There's some people having snacks. I haven't even had breakfast yet, so I will right after this. Hi Adeline, thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. Hopefully I get to meet you very soon. I'm reading your comments. Oh, it's so sweet that you're able to join. You're welcome about the book recommendation. I have another one today. I hope you like it as well. Yes. Hi, Pageant Explorer. Some of you are finishing your workout. That's great. Something that we all have to do. Good morning, Jose. Hi, people from Chicago. All right, Miss Jamaica here. Thank you for joining. So nice to see you here. It means a lot that you take off your time too. That I know it's a busy agenda as well. So thank you for hanging out with me. It's so sweet of you to be here. Vietnam, thank you for joining. Hi, Joanne. Yes, Miss Jamaica and India are here. Makes me feel very happy to have them around. Hi, Cindy from Orlando. It's all going really well. Actually, it's a very chill morning. Not a lot of sunlight, but it's okay. Getting ready for the day, and it's amazing to be able to start it hanging out with all of you. So thank you for being here. De Amelis, te amo. Love you so much. World Pageant India, that's great. All right, so are you ready to hang out with me? So guys, this is officially my welcome to you to the second Queen Hangouts of this amazing Instagram live series that I did to share and spend time with you, share my ideas, my adventures, my shenanigans. So today, I'm gonna start talking about what's been going on in my agenda and in my life since the last time that we hung out at the first Queen Hangouts. And there's been two types of things that has been happening in my life. So first one is the fun things category, and the other one is the inspirational things. So I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about the fun things. So since the first Queen Hangouts, I've been able to participate and be part of amazing creative photo shoots. I know that you've all been able to see them. We've been working with both local and international teams in order to be part of really beautiful productions for newspapers and magazines. And I wanted to take this window of free time to thank you personally to every single person that was part of it, to all the teams, the photographers, the stylists. Thank you also to you for taking of your time to express how much you love them and to express your love. It really always means a lot to be able to work as hard as we do and then see that beautiful feedback from you. So thank you so much. So another fun thing that has happened in my life is that I recently bought a bike. I know some of you already saw the video I uploaded yesterday, and it's the cutest bike ever. It's a red oldie bike, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what is it that I have with bikes. So the appreciation that I have with bikes pretty much started when I was living in Belgium and in the Netherlands. And in these countries, biking is pretty much the main transportation method for a lot of people. So I had to get used to it, and I had to learn how to get to work, to the job, to school, to meet my friends with a bike. And it not only became a transportation method, it really became also a therapy for me to relax and to gain all the energies that I needed every time I felt a little bit, tense, that we all have those moments. And the thing is that I really wanted to reconnect with that, so I decided to get a bike to be able to use it here in Puerto Rico. And suddenly I had this realization, or more like a moment of deep thought about the concept of mobility. The concept of mobility, regardless the way, train, subway, the metro, walking, bikes, motorcycles, it really is a simple way of getting to point A to point B. It really takes us to, it allows us to make our daily activities. And most important of all, it is a vehicle that allows us to do the interactions and have interactions with the people that we love, with our colleagues at work, with our friends. And it's a really simple thought, but I thought now that I have this bike, I realized that with the pandemic and the lockdown that we had to go through in the pandemic, mobility for all of us reduced significantly. And getting my bike and biking it and going from point A to point B to do my workouts really made me appreciate and remind ourselves that we are very lucky and we have the advantage to move in this world. And it doesn't matter what method of transportation you use, enjoy it and embrace it, because thanks to mobility nowadays, we can really discover the world, we can discover people that we love, and we can discover ourselves. So it's just a little note that I had and thought that I had when I bought the bike. So now moving to the inspirational things that have been happening since we last hung out, where I'm very happy to announce something that some of you already know. It is that I was able to rejoin the Centro de la Mujer Dominicana. And the Centro de la Mujer Dominicana is a non-profit community-based organization that assists and offers services to the immigrant community in Puerto Rico, specifically immigrant women in Puerto Rico. Now, I had the chance of vocalizing and referencing the work of the center when I was Miss Universe Puerto Rico competing for San Sebastián. So that was at the local national pageant in 2019. And now I am blessed to have the opportunity to become again the spokesperson of the center. And I wanted to talk about where my interest for migration comes from. So the first thing is that I was lucky to be able to have the opportunity to make a master's degree. And the master's degree was focused in migration trends. And during my master's degree, my thesis was to create a field work around the migration trajectory of an indigenous group of immigrants. They are called the Triquis. And the Triqui community, they come from the southern state of Oaxaca in Mexico, and they internally migrated to Mexico City, the city. And that's where I did my field work. And it was pretty much around how, through the trajectory of migrating as a community, they established in a certain point in Mexico City, and they were able to reproduce their traditional practices in order to keep that community building process and that sense of belonging. And besides these two experiences, studying and doing my field work, I have to say that my own experience as a migrant, and I say migrant because it's way different, the concept of being an expatriate than being a migrant, but the experience that I had and the adjustments that I had to go through in order to live outside of my country, and then having that as a reference while I was doing my field work with the indigenous Triqui community as immigrants, I realized it's completely different. It's a completely different experience for me than it is for people like the indigenous Triqui migrants. And the difference lies in the fact that for me, leaving my country and living abroad was a choice that I could pick from many others. It was me following a professional dream. And for a lot of people, that's not the case. It's simply migration becomes the only choice for survival. And becoming aware of that really inspired me to know a little bit more specifically about the immigrant community within my own country. Because I was studying in Mexico and I thought, what about the immigrant community in my own country? And that's the reason why I decided to contact the Centro de la Mujer Dominicana and to start vocalizing the work that they were doing in Puerto Rico. And one of the things that makes it so important for me to talk about the immigrant community and to bring to light what they're going through is that there's a huge contribution from this community here in Puerto Rico for the economy of Puerto Rico. There's a huge contribution from the immigrant community to the institution of Puerto Rican families that benefit, for example, from the work some of these immigrant women do within the domestic sphere. A lot of them, they work as nannies, they cook for the families, they are caretakers. And that is something that we need to realize and recognize. And today, it makes me super proud and honored actually, because if I became the spokesperson of the center, it's because I was given as well the opportunity to do so. And it makes me really proud because I believe it is a reality that we need to start recognizing. So that's inspirational thing number one that's been happening. And the other inspirational thing that I wanted to talk about is that we have launched season 2 of Camino al Universo. Now, Camino al Universo, the season 2, it's about a series of conversations that I have with leaders and activists in Puerto Rico. And we talk about social topics. We talk about gender perspective, violence, migration, diversity. And why am I doing it? It is because I honestly believe there's a huge need for dialogue in order to connect across the political and social divide. And I believe, sometimes I have the feeling that the unwillingness that sometimes we have to be part of a dialogue, it's often the reason why we end up in really deep conflicts. So I want to talk about a book. This is my book recommendation. And this book is related to the purpose of what I'm doing with Camino al Universo and these conversations. This book is called Rules. Yeah, it's more like Rules for Dialogue in Conflict Situations. It's a book in Spanish. And it's written by a professor of ethics from the Universidad de Barcelona. His name is Norbert Bilbeni. And in this book, he talks about dialogue as a method not only of building relationships, but of actually understanding the people that we build them with. It talks about how the individual willingness to practice the ability to listen, to learn, and to understand where others are coming from when they share their points of views can actually bring meaningful and respectful interactions. So I came across this book and I thought this is super interesting to read, to have as a background for the purpose of Camino al Universo. And like I was saying, the purpose of Camino al Universo is actually to offer us a comfortable and safe space for people to have discussions that actually inspire them to take a more active role in their own communities' dialogues. So this is a series that we're sharing twice a month. So if I'm not mistaken, it's 1 week yes, 1 week not. and it is in Spanish, and we're trying to figure out how we can add the subtitles so that you can also follow and know the discussion and follow the discussion. But I always put like a small summary both in Spanish and English so that at least you can have an idea of what it is that I'm talking about. So, oh, and by the way, I have to say, I cannot forget that this thing that we're doing with Camino al Universo now, it's actually the exact same thing that I was doing for my podcast, Voces de Reinas. So if you were able to follow the things that I did last year, one of the main things that I was involved with was exactly, the podcast, and also bringing people that we could open the conversation. So it's basically the same line of thinking. It's just that now you can see what's happening and you can really see the conversation in video. And guys, I think that's pretty much the update that I have for you. And now I just want to go straight into answering your questions. And let's see. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to send your questions. There were so many questions. I appreciate every single one of them. So thank you so much. I received questions from Puerto Rico, Netherlands, Colombia, Croatia, Dominican Republic. So it means a lot that you were really into it and involved. So here I go. I'm going to answer 5 of your questions. And the first one, actually, I got a lot of questions regarding the age topic for the Miss Universe competition. And there were a lot of them, so I thought, okay, I think I'm going to answer generally for all the people that want to know a little bit more about what's going on with the age and the competition. So there's one clarification and something that I need to share with you. And it is that the moment that I received the possibility, that I was presented with the possibility of becoming Miss Universe Puerto Rico, the first step was to confirm with the international organization if my age and my actual date of birth would make me an eligible candidate for the competition. And luckily we received confirmation from the organization, and we had the green light for me to officially become the representative for Puerto Rico for the next competition that hopefully we will know very soon the date. I know we're all dying to know where it is going to be and when. And I want to take the opportunity to share a thought about this whole topic and correlation between certain ages being more desirable within a beauty pageant competition. I believe that the things that define a Miss Universe, or the factors that define a Miss Universe, should have a lot less to do with the age of the candidate and a lot more with the ability that she has to portray values, and especially unifying values, in her actions, in her words, in her interactions. Now, the most important thing about that line of thought is that I truly believe, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us, or a lot of you, would agree with me, and is that ability to be able to portray your values in the way that you spread your message and how you treat others, it is not exclusively developed by years lived. It can also, and in many cases, be developed by experiences lived. And experiences lived are experiences lived regardless of age, and their teachings are legitimate for all. So that is something that I wanted to say about the whole topic, since a lot of you really wanted to know my thoughts on the issue of age and the competition. So question number two comes from Luis Angel _5. And he would like to know, do you think an introvert woman can win Miss Universe? Now, Luis Angel, I have to say something. I really appreciate the way that you presented your question. And I'm going to tell you why. I have come across a lot of opinions that express that in order for women or men to gain something, to win something, to reach something, they need to have a personality. As if some people have a personality and others don't. And here's the thing. I believe that when you're a human being, if being a human being implies personhood and therefore a personality. So if you're a human being, there's a personality in there. And I think that sometimes describing a person as having no personality can actually be interpreted as a very dehumanizing denial of one's personhood. And even worse, when describing someone as having no personality, it actually opens the door for that someone to start this quest of that apparent missing personality. And that, my friends, is where we lose ourselves. When we stop being ourselves because we start looking for another personhood, another someone. So let us not fall into that line. And what I do believe, and to answer your question, Luis, is that we should focus in teaching children to embrace the peculiarities of their personalities, regardless of what personality they have. And to understand that being an introvert or an extrovert can actually make you win the Miss Universe crown or anything else that you might want to win, as long as you attract and influence others. So if you have that, you can win anything. So, all right. Ready for question number 3. This is more dealing with the sporty version of Miss Universe Puerto Rico. And the question comes from Fabio Drac. Thank you, Fabio, for your question. And he wants to know, what is my favorite sport? So I have to say, because of my height, I was always encouraged to practice different sports. I went to practices for volleyball, basketball, football, soccer, a little bit of everything. And at the end, I ended up being part of the track and field team of my school. And talking about sport is something that I've learned to appreciate more than ever that I am competing, because as I discussed with tennis player and Olympic champion Monica Puig, there's a lot of similarities between an athlete and a beauty pageant contestant, and that is that the focus, the determination, and above all, the sacrifices that we have to do, they're all very similar. So I appreciate a lot sports, but I've also learned that I enjoy sports more when I watch them than when I play them. And if I had to pick my top 2 favorite sports, it would be, I would say, swimming. I think it's a very relaxing sport to watch. And I'll have to say as well, basketball. And of course, there's a huge influence there from my family. I have a brother and he's always been a basketball player. So I sort of learned how to understand the game, how to follow it. And of course, you always want to support your siblings. So yeah, it will be basketball and swimming. And alrighty, let's see. So I have a question from Ever Alexander Cortez, and talking about family, he wants to know if I have brothers and sisters. And guys, I never told you this, but I actually have a twin sister. And of course, I'm totally kidding. I have no twin sister. I have one brother. He is older than I am. He's 4 years older than I am. And his name is Estefania.Soto. And he's an amazing human being. He is a male figure in my life that really inspires me to be the best version of me. And it's someone that inspires me to reach further away than what I think I can reach. And maybe you also have a male figure in your life, whether it be your dad, your grandpa, your best friend, your brother, your cousin, your nephew, that can also, inspire that. And I think it's really important, especially when we talk about the development and the discussions of, mutual respect and support. I think we need to be together, and we need to recognize that both men and women have a lot to offer and a lot to learn from each other. So I don't know if my brother is here watching this. I don't think so because he's working. But if there's anyone here that knows my brother, and I know some of you know my brother, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. He is love all the way. And guys, the final question comes from, okay, this is really hard. Instagram page, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it's ymoix89. This person wants to know, what are my top 5 favorite touristic places in Puerto Rico? So if you're from Puerto Rico, make sure you do them. If you have done them, do them again. If you're not from Puerto Rico and you're traveling soon or maybe planning a trip to come to Puerto Rico, take some notes. So spot number 1 would be the field and citadel of El Morro in our beautiful capital, and specifically in Old San Juan. If you go there, make sure you fly your kite. The second spot I would go for would be the delicious culinary hotspot of Piñones in Loíza. And my favorite thing to do when I go there is to buy and drink fresh coconut water. You cannot come to Puerto Rico and not have fresh coconut water. So go to Piñones, get some fresh coconut water, and also they have a lot of other delicious things that you should definitely try out. Favorite spot number 3 would be Playa Flamenco in the island municipality of Culebra. And there I have to say, you have to spend at least one night. And if you do, then you have to spend it at the beach, no bonfires, just you, your loved ones, and the night full of stars. It's so beautiful, you will never forget about it. And place number 4 would be, I actually have a thing for the southern part of Puerto Rico. It's so mesmerizing when you actually take this road, and if you do a road trip from the capital San Juan and you go down south, you would see these amazing ethereal mountains with like one-tone color. It's so beautiful. It really makes me feel like I am somewhere else. But it's also kind of funny because it just shows the diversity of our beautiful island. So definitely go there and make a stop at Salinas for some yummy food and fish, and at Ponce. Those are the 2 places you need to stop. And my final favorite spot would be the waterfall Gozalandia in beautiful San Sebastián, the place and the municipality that I represented when I competed in Miss Universe Puerto Rico in 2019. It's a beautiful place, but please don't go and just take pictures. You really have to swim under the cold water. So I hope you took notes. If you're traveling to Puerto Rico, if you're from Puerto Rico, make some time in your agenda and your weekends and make sure you visit these places. And guys, I think it's time for me to start reading your comments, because that's all that I had in my mind that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for your questions. Now I'm gonna start reading your comments. Salinas, someone's hometown here. Yes. It's a beautiful place. I love so much. Like I said, the trip is so beautiful. It's so relaxing. And yeah, it's definitely a must do. Thank you so much. Yes, you definitely should come to Puerto Rico. Good morning, Jenny. Someone says to go to Jauco. Definitely. Of course, these are my top 5, but there's so many beautiful places that you can enjoy of here in Puerto Rico. Thank you so much, Carmencita. Te mando un beso. Thank you for joining. I know it's early in the morning for a lot of us here in Puerto Rico. Well, not that much. It's already 9:30, so it's okay. Yes, Jauco is amazing. Thank you for your beautiful comments. Someone's writing that they want to go back to Puerto Rico. Yeah, you can always come back. Belleza Boricuas. Thank you so much for that comment. Thank you. So much love. Las Cavernas de Camuy. Amazing place also to visit in Puerto Rico. Thank you so much. I'm receiving comments on how much you like this space. Thank you so much for joining. It really is a moment of, me opening up about all the ideas and thoughts that I have in mind. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. Hi, for everyone's joining from Italy. Thank you. Santa Isabel, yes. It is super beautiful. It is super beautiful. Alrighty, let me see. I think I have... Okay. I have a question from Pageant World India. And they want to know how's my preparation going so far for the competition. It's going great. It's really going great, and I think the greatest part of it is that I am actually seeing myself, the evolution. I feel a lot more comfortable when it comes to these types of interactions. I feel like I can open up my heart to all of you in the most sincere way. And that's something that has been possible for many factors. I think I was able to have experiences in life that allowed me to, bring a lot of interesting content and interesting thoughts and discussions. The organization has helped me to show the personality that I've always had in the public sphere, because it's not the same to be yourself, around the people that love you and around the people that you're used to, hanging out with, and with a lot of people that follow you because they admire and they also love you. So the organization has really helped a lot in that sense. How am I going to present the Steffi, because that's how my friends and family call me, the Steffi that hangs out with her nephew and makes jokes? How am I going to do that for the public? And I feel every day a lot more confident to do that with you here in this space. So thank you, the organization. And it is also possible because of all of you, because reading your comments, reading your love, reading your suggestions is always a nice and lovely reference to see if I'm going the right way or not. So thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Hi, people joining from Italy. For the evening gowns, of course, I wish I could tell you many details. I have a lot of them, but I cannot share them with you yet. But I think you're gonna love everything that we have in mind and everything that we are preparing. So yes. Ekva veut que je parle français. Merci. Au fait, ça fait très longtemps que je parle pas français et je pense que peut-être ça serait génial de faire une petite live session en français. Peut-être un petit cours en français de comment apprendre les termes basiques de la langue française, ou parler un petit peu de mon expérience en France, mon expérience au Québec. Peut-être vous allez aimer, je sais pas. On verra. Yes. Alrighty guys, thank you so much again for joining me. I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you for your love, for your support. Thank you for hanging out with me during the morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're joining me from. And hopefully I'll see you soon and we'll meet again to hang out next month in my next Queen Hangouts Part 3. Love you all. Big kisses. Bye.